God, family, and football. When you grow up in small town Ohio, when you're a young man, those are the three things that you care about the most. And for a young Jeff Grossman, that was the case for him. But unlike many young men growing up in small town Ohio, Jeff Grossman was special. And I'm not talking about more than special. I'm talking about somebody who played both sides of the ball and played so well on both sides of the ball. He got some calls from some schools. And not just any college. Not just your local Division I schools in the area, such as Toledo, such as Bowling Green. Oh no. I'm talking about one of the blue bloods of college football, Florida State University. He had a full scholarship to play football there. But you see, young Jeff Grossman, he was also a Patriot at heart. So to the surprise of no one that actually knew him, he didn't go on to play college football. He answered a higher calling. He answered the call to join the United States Air Force when he got out of high school, serving 16 faithful years of military service, serving all over the planet, serving most notably in Desert Shield. But eventually, Jeff Grossman was discharged from military service. And not too long after, not being someone to sit on their butt all the time, he got into coaching. At first, being on the coaching staff for Division III Ohio Northern, then moving up to Division II, being the offensive coordinator for the Tiffin Dragons. And it was during this time where current Air Force head coach Tony Calhoun, who also served with Jeff Grossman in that Desert Shield operation, was looking for an offensive coordinator. And it was at that moment, called up Jeff Grossman, and Grossman jumped on the opportunity, where at 50 years old, Jeff Grossman makes his debut as an FBS coach. Welcome to the Jeff Grossman coaching series on NCAA 14, dedicated for those that fought and will fight for our country. Let's get it. What's going on, everybody? This is John Jake Gaming on the mic here, coming at you with a brand new series on NCAA 14 using that college football revamp. And we got ourselves a little bit of a coach dynasty, in case you haven't figured it out yet. We are watching the coaching journey of Jeff Grossman, getting his first FBS job in his mid-40s. You absolutely love to see it. But it's going to be, it's not going to be what many modern college offenses run. We are going to be starting off as an offensive coordinator, of course. But since we are going to the Air Force, we got to go ahead and rock with that Air Force option, baby. Running the ball a whole lot. The pass really about to be a trick play in this dynasty, man. So it's going to be a fun one. If we do ever end up getting a head coaching opportunity, we will end up be running a 3-4 on the defensive side of the ball to go with it. So that being said, let's take a quick peek to see what's going down. How good is Air Force right now, according to their ratings? So here we are getting ready to go ahead and see what Air Force has. And looking at the rest of the conference, we're going to certainly be on that lower end. It's never easy to recruit at the Air Force Academy, of course. But that being said, we are certainly up, ready for the challenge. Going to start with a 70 overall offense and a 78 defense. Of course, we will be the offensive coordinator. So that being said, we won't see that offense side of the ball. And this is what has went down over the past few years. They've been a middling program, but if we can get to that 8-year target, maybe win a bowl game or a conference championship game, maybe we have some bigger things in the wings for us. But as of right now, we will get we get a 7-year deal to go ahead and work with. So you want to talk about some security on the offensive side of the ball as a coordinator, by the way, you guys. Certainly going to be rocking with that. First upgrade has to be ball security. We're not going to be going ahead and necessarily going up tempo a lot of the time or at all even, seeing as we are an option squad. So just real quick, I wanted to go ahead and show you guys the sliders that I will be working with over the course of this series. Now, we are going to be obviously rocking Heisman, doing 9-minute quarters. These are based off of the Mac 10 sliders that I saw, and then I also went ahead and made a few tweaks, not too many tweaks for this series, but these are mainly the Mac 10 sliders with my own personal adjustments as well. So I'm actually really to see how this turns out. I played a couple of test games for you guys beforehand, and I am excited to see how this turns out for us, especially because we are going to be starting off as an offensive coordinator. So with that being said, since we are going to be the offensive coordinator for Air Force, let's go ahead and see what our offense should be looking like here in our first games as an FBS coach. Starting at the quarterback position, we got Hazik Daniels. Now, Daniels, incredibly fast guy, 80 speed, 90 excel, 90 agility. He doesn't look that good on paper, only 77 throw power, 75 accuracy. But that being said, he's has some solid elusiveness, got really good stamina to work with as well, and he should be a solid option quarterback for us in the event that he does end up getting hurt. We will also have Warren Bryan, who is a senior at that backup position. And then we also have Chance Stevenson as our third string quarterback. Zach Lyer and Ben Britton are both going to be redshirted this upcoming season. In addition, at the halfback position, we have DeAndre Hughes, who is a 71 overall, does have a decent amount of speed, 84 speed, 86 excel, 86 agility to go with it. I like his awareness, has a pretty good elusiveness to work with as well. Got some decent spin moves, juke moves, has a way to get away from some defenders. Great stamina guy as well to go with it. Backing him up will be Jordan Guidry for this upcoming season. And then we will also have CJ McNeil as the third string guy with Marcese Yates, who's a true freshman. He's going to get redshirted. Jacob Trosh will also be redshirted as well. Now, one thing that's special about the option attack is that the fullback is actually still used, and we have plenty of fullbacks on this roster. We have 4 fullbacks, but it's going to be highlighted by Brad Roberts, right in Colorado Springs, right in Colorado, hometown guy. Brad Roberts is the best offensive player that we have on this roster. We do also have Omar Fatah, as well as Elijah Robinson getting some run. Emmanuel Michael will be redshirted though for us, so we'll carry 3 fullbacks into games. Wide receiver position, we got, even though we don't pass the football all that much, we do have 3 pretty good wide receivers. Brandon Lewis, David Cormier, and Micah Davis are on this team. We do also have Seth Midor, Jake Spirik, and Ben Jefferson on this team as well. But definitely a veteran-laden squad on the offensive side of football. Then to round out the skill position, guys, at tight end, starting tight end, going to be Kyle Patterson, who is a 76 overall guy. But watch out for Caden Blum and Dalton King. We should be seeing plenty of them, some 2 tight end, free tight end stuff, seeing as we like to pound the rock. That is our bread and butter in this offense. Finally, for the offensive line, our offensive line starters are going to be Ryan Booth, senior from Abilene, Texas. Ryan Booth is a 74 overall. At left guard, we got the senior Hawk Wimmer, 6'4", 320 pounds, big fella. Obviously, got to have that run blocking. Actually, they're all run blocking guys, so I like to see that. A Lewis, Wisconsin guy. You'll love to see the meat and potatoes country. Abilene, Texas, we got 4 Pagalong. Dude got a fantastic name. When your name is 4, you're going to be something special in the future. He's only a sophomore right now. 70 overall, should be a good offensive lineman down the line, so I'm excited for that. Then to round out our offensive line, we got Isaac Cochran, the Ascogee, North Carolina product, 6'5", 300 pounds. He's a big guy. And then, of course, we have Everett Smalley, sophomore run blocking dude from Altamonte Springs, Florida. Sophomore, 71 overall. He also should be pretty good for us in the future. So with the recruiting stuff out of the way, let's go ahead and see what our schedule is going to be looking like this upcoming season. And we start off pretty light. We do get an FCS team. We play the Mountain Cats. That is an interesting name for an FCS squad. So we play the Mountain Cats first, and then a home game against Utah State to get our feet wet a little bit, get used to this option attack. Then it gets a little bit more difficult. Road game against Boise State, a team that's always in the mix for that Mountain West Championship. Follow that with a home game against Wyoming, on the road against Nevada. Then we have a road game against Navy, one of our biggest rivals, part of that Commanders Cup series. Gotta go 2-0 against our Service Academy opponents. That includes a home game against Army that will play later on in the season. But between the Navy and Army game, we got this home game against San Diego State. They're a pretty good squad, obviously. Notre Dame, they're a really good football team. And then we end the season with a little bit of a lighter note. Road game against New Mexico, home game against UNLV. They've been down bad as of late. And then we finish up with a rivalry game against a non-service academy, Colorado State. As for the recruiting rules that we are going to go ahead and rock with, at least while we're here at Air Force. Now, the Air Force Academy, or really any of the military academies, they are not known for getting the premier high school players at the high school football level. So what we're going to do while we are here at the Air Force Academy, we can go after as many guys as we want. We need some young military officers, of course. But that being said, we will not be allowed to go after any 4- or 5-star players. And on top of that, we will only be able to sign a maximum of 8 3-star players in each recruiting class, at least while we are here at Air Force. And speaking of recruiting, let me tell you guys about how you guys can go ahead and get involved in this series as well if you are interested in having a custom prospect in the future. So speaking of recruiting though, if you want to be somebody that can get involved in this dynasty by being a custom prospect, what's going to happen with this particular series is that since it's no guarantee that I'm going to be at a school for a lengthy period of time, if you want to be a custom prospect in this dynasty, you will actually start out as a high school senior. We'll track where you guys sign, where you go, how your college career ends up turning out. And, it's something that we'll keep track of, every few episodes or so. So that being said, let's go ahead and check out the players that are going to be included in this specific recruiting class. So starting out in the state of Alaska, we got ourselves some Cruz Wakefield, 6'5", 220 pounds. He is currently listed as a wide receiver in this recruiting class, but back in high school, he was somebody that was also used at that quarterback position. So mainly can be used at wide receiver, but also can be used at quarterback. He is currently listed as a 4-star prospect. Up next, we have 3-star defensive end Chris Hill, listed in Rexburg, Idaho. He's a big fella, 6'6", 295 pounds. He is a pass rushing type, and right now he is going to be entering this preseason with interest from schools, multiple Power 5 schools: Kansas State, Wisconsin, Penn State, Vanderbilt, Ole Miss, Michigan State, and Missouri. We'll see how his recruiting process ends up turning out. In the state of Maine, we have 1-star prospect John Ross, 6'3", 190 pounds. He is a 1-star player from Shawinigan, Maine, but despite that, he does have an interest from a few schools right now: Boston College, Appalachian State, and the Pittsburgh Panthers all currently have interest in him right now, and he is a guy that's got a good amount of interest. We'll see how his career turns out. From the state of Minnesota, the same town as the St. Thomas Tommies, we got three-star prospect Malachi Hill. Now, if that last name sounds familiar to you guys, that is because he is actually the son of Zaire Hill, who was one of the first players to be drafted in the St. Thomas series. He's now coming up through the ranks in the collegiate process. We'll see how he's turned out, getting a little bit more attention than his dad, looking at schools like Iowa State, Cincinnati, Wisconsin, Iowa, and Northwestern. In Syracuse, New York, we have Jonathan Fousen, who, despite the fact that he has been screwed over by his high school coach in terms of playing time, he is still listed as a three-star player. Just seems like a pretty raw guy as of right now. Currently getting some interest from some smaller schools, such as Buffalo, Temple, and the Army Academy. Oklahoma State, Boston College, and Maryland are also taking a look at him right now. So he is a three-star prospect. We'll see if he stays in the New York area. In the state of South Carolina, we got Isaiah King, who is considered at least a possession guy. Three-star player, 6'3", 210 pounds to go with it as well. And Isaiah King, definitely getting some looks from the Carolina programs. Looks like he wants to stay close to home. Top 3 schools including Clemson, Coastal Carolina, ECU, but also getting looks from Marshall, Duke, and Louisiana Tech. We'll see if he stays in the Carolinas, or does he branch out and go to a school like Marshall and Louisiana Tech. To round out the American prospects, because we have a couple of prospects that are international, we have 4-star running back John Johnson. John Johnson, he is a big man. Always doesn't run like he runs like a big man, even though he may not be that big. 5'11", 177 pounds. But that being said, though, this is a guy that will run you over. 4-star prospect, 76 overall, and getting some great attention from Washington State, Oregon State, Boise, Nevada, Wyoming. We'll see if the Cougars can keep him in state, or will we go into the Mountain West to play his college ball. And then to round out the group with the Canadian prospects, we have 2 Canadian prospects actually. We have 4-star prospect Gladier Aruba. And Gladier Aruba, he is a guy. He is born in Aruba and did some amateur gladiator matches back in the day before he immigrated up to Canada. So while he's not a very big guy whatsoever, kind of reminds me of Devontae Smith with that 5'5", 160 pounds. This is a guy, he is a tough guy. He will make that tough catch for you, and that's why he's listed as a 4-star prospect, even though he may not have that much size. Also immigrating to Canada during his teenage years is Andre Shigal. He is a guy that immigrated to Canada from all the way in Bulgaria, recently picked up football not too long ago. But you want to talk about a guy that is a raw prospect. 3-star guy already, 5'9", 240 pounds, has plenty of room to grow in schools like Northern Illinois, Boise State, Cincinnati, Toledo, and Rutgers. They see that. We'll see if they can go ahead and jump on that as well. So with that being said, in the very next episode, we will actually play the first couple of games in our FBS coaching career. Seeing as we are an offensive coordinator, we only control one side of the ball. I'm probably going to have quite a few double headers for you guys, at least until we get a head coaching position. But for now, we're going to have a ton of fun here in these first 2 episodes. Should be a good one. Gonna start off playing against an FCS East team so that we can get a little bit more used to running an option attack, and then we'll follow that up with another home game against Utah State as well. So should be a good one. Make sure you go ahead, smash that like button for me, hit subscribe if you have to be brand new. Hope you guys are ready for this series, man. And with that being said, this is John J. Gaming on the mic signing off. I'm hoping you're all out there having a good one. Take care, everybody.